Hi, it's Representative Jim Walsh here at the Capitol for our first post-2026 legislative session update. Hard to believe it was only 60 days. A lot happened while we were in session, and the session still lingers a bit. We're in that period now after the session's over where the governor is still reviewing bills that passed and has the option of signing them or vetoing them for several weeks after the legislative session's over. So we're in that period now, and everyone's kind of watchful over what the governor will do, especially with the most controversial bills that passed. It was a tough session. Some of those controversial bills were really bad public policy. We had, of course, Senate Bill 6346 that creates a first ever state income tax in Washington. Highly controversial. That was the subject of the 24-and-a-half-hour floor debate that took place right behind me here. Went from a Monday afternoon through the night, through Tuesday, into Tuesday early evening. We really tried to improve by amendment or stop that bad bill. But the governor and his supporters had just enough votes to squeeze it through. Another bad bill that passed was the pension raid on the LEF 1, that's law enforcement officers and firefighters' pension plan. It's one of 15 public pensions that the state of Washington manages. And the governor and his supporters raided LEF 1, took out about $4 billion, and they're going to put that money into the state's operating account, its operating budget. So they took money out of a pension to put into day-to-day spending, not good financial management. And there were a number of budget issues that continue to plague us. Generally speaking, we don't spend money very well. Our priorities here in the legislature are not the best priorities for efficient delivery of services to the people of Washington. And we just don't leave enough cushion at the end. We don't leave enough of an ending fund balance in our operating budget to adjust for any unexpected emergencies or other things that occur. So our bad budgets continue, and these new bills to create a new state income tax and take money out of a pension plan, really bad financial management. Now, it's worth pointing out the governor has not yet signed either of those highly controversial bills, the new state income tax or the pension raid. We'll see what he does. It's possible that he would veto parts of those bills. The governor in the state of Washington has the ability to do what's called a section veto part of a bill, but then sign the rest of it into law. So it's possible the governor is considering something like that. In any event, he's slow playing the signing of these controversial bills. I should point out while we're talking about the governor's actions in the post-session period, he's made a big deal about signing Senate Bill 6084 that fixes a very narrow bit of problem in state law around elections. This was the bill that prohibits someone from voting twice in the same election. It was caused by a high-profile lawsuit that the state lost. A fellow living in Lewis County voted both in Washington and in Oregon in the same election. He was prosecuted for doing that. That's illegal, or at least we thought it was. And the state appeals court ruled that Washington law was ambiguous, and maybe what he did was not illegal after all. And the court gave the legislature instructions for how to fix the ambiguity in the law. This Senate Bill 6084 did that, but some of us had issues with it because it didn't go far enough. It fixed a narrow language problem, but still the law in general is vague enough, ambiguous enough. A person might vote in two states, Washington and Oregon, in elections that aren't on the same day. So while the bill closed part of the loophole, it didn't close it completely. And this is going to continue to be an issue. It's another example of how election integrity is a growing concern in Washington state. And of course, there are actions at the federal level that may influence some of these issues. with the SAVE Act, the federal SAVE Act, currently working its way through D.C., and a couple U.S. Supreme Court cases, one involving how long ballots that are received after Election Day can be counted. That may affect our election integrity issues here in Washington State. But this one bill, 6084, it had bipartisan support. I voted for it, but it doesn't close the loophole entirely. We need to do more and better for election integrity. And lastly, some good news. For the 19th district, we had a good session, particularly with regard to capital budget projects. We got a good project funded to renovate and restore the baseball field at Lower Columbia College. And we got an important project funded through the capital budget for improving the emergency radio system in Pacific County. Pacific County has been struggling to have its law enforcement and first responders all on the same radio network so they can talk to each other in real time when emergencies happen. This project that we funded through the capital budget will help Pacific County get an updated radio system in place so that first responders and law enforcement can talk to each other in a more reliable way. There were other good capital budget projects funded this session too, and we'll include more information on that in the comments below. But for now, it was an interesting session. Many of the most controversial parts have not even been fully resolved yet. We'll be watching what the governor does with some of these controversial bills, and you may see lawsuits and other actions happening in the wake of some of what happened here during the session. But that's it for now. Until next time, be well and stay strong.